Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I'm Conostip and this is going to be part 37 of my early campaign where I'm playing as Egypt. And the last episode was pretty quiet, wasn't it? I was basically just kind of focusing on getting my armies sorted out and trying to figure out how I best want to garrison my fortifications. The Almohads continue to pose as themselves as a somewhat annoying threat here on my western border. Eventually, obviously, I do want to, pare down my defenses out here. But for the time being, they're still somewhat annoying, and I wonder if I need to kind of go on in there and maybe smash them up a little bit, just to kind of make it so that they can't attack me like ever again. I know that Tunisia is one of their objectives. I think it still is. Yeah, so that's why that's happening. But something that I kind of came to the conclusion of in the last episode is that if I want to have this light outer defense garrison strategy, while also making sure that I can gain all of my points during every single counting period, having a buffer zone like Tunisia here on my western frontier, buffering Cyrenaica, which is an objective for me, is actually pretty nice. It kind of focuses their attention on this and then not this. Because I have seen the AI, smartly kind of nip off a border province, in the past, in previous campaigns, right at that counting period so that I did not make those points. So to get, to make sure that doesn't happen, having that buffer region is kind of nice. So in this episode, I'm going to be attacking Lesser Armenia and then Rome and then Armenia. Now, I plan on just going all in with all of my armies and just pushing back the Mongols from Lesser Armenia and Armenia. The rebels I will have to fight here because I have no place to retreat to. So I can attack them with my forces here in Edessa. Yeah, not really going to overthink this one. I just want to kind of go in here and push these guys back. Yeah, and then take these provinces and then make it so that, like Antioch and Edessa and Syria are not threatened anymore. Oh shoot. Okay, this is actually something I need to consider. The problem with making, having a war with the rebels is that once that happens, I am no longer trading with any of the rebel province. And although there really aren't many, are there? But if someone were to die, if someone's land were to go completely rebel, that would be an entire region vacant that I could no longer trade with. Like here I actually am trading with Sardinia and then Corsica, and I've kept it that way this entire campaign, being able to trade with these rebel factions, which is, probably kept me afloat. Here in Livonia, I'm trading with them as well. If they were to take Nicaea or Constantinople. Constantinople does have a port, Nicaea does not, but I could trade with Constantinople if they finish taking that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I was going to wait for the French Crusade to come down, and then I was going to smash them. Okay, that's what I was going to do. Okay, let's just... Alright, sorry I got you excited. Let me just kind of go back here then. And I take that back. Just kidding, I'm not going to attack you Mongols. And yeah, I got excited there. But I will wait for the French Crusade to border my territories, and then I'll move forward and smash them. They probably will just retreat because the AI Crusades can kind of cheat like that. But still, just kind of push them off of my borders. That should be fine. So that's fine. I think I was moving these guys over to Edessa anyway, which I think I was. Yeah, that makes sense. And then was I moving? I had some Saharan Cav that I thought maybe I was moving as well. See, I got everyone all mixed up now, so I missed it all up. Yeah, maybe I was moving you. I can't remember. And yeah, that's fine. We'll hang out. We'll wait for a second. That does give me time actually. What I can do then is maybe move up some artillery to help me take this castle here in Rome. So there's no defensive upgrades here in this castle here. Now, I could bring the big daddies, the siege cannons. that could be fun. I could also play around with the mortars just to kind of toy around with them a bit more. It's definitely a unit that I've written off in the past, and probably deservedly so, but still, they might be kind of interesting. I will say, it's interesting kind of like the way that the siege engines tech up in this game is interesting, because I believe these mangonels, I think that these are available at a Citadel level. I think so. I think that's their level of like development. Because, let's see, the tier 1 siege engine building is a ballista. The tier 2 would be the catapult. The tier 3 would be the trebuchet. And the tier 4 would be the mangonel. So yeah, this would be a Citadel level building, which is pretty intense. But the mangonels, as we've seen, I think I've shown them to you before, but they're very powerful. Like, it says it right there, very powerful shot. As opposed to the trebuchet, which just says powerful shot, yeah. So they're good. But it's interesting, kind of like there's a level of defensive structures that you do not want to use certain low-tech artillery pieces against. There gets to be a point where you're really going to be outmatched. You know, like using, for instance, like if I were to kind of go through it in my head, and I know this isn't like the easiest thing for you guys to sort of picture. I don't have anything. I can't really show you anything, any diagrams or anything. But for me, like, if I were to kind of talk through it, ballistas, pretty trash, right? But they can, in a pinch, be used against forts. Forts have no stone structures in them, and ballistas can be used to knock down the walls, and they can be used to knock down the gates. They barely, I think they barely get through the walls, but they do get through the walls. And they can do so while remaining outside of the range of like the invisible quasi archers that are manning the walls of the forts that you cannot see. So you can take down the walls and the gates of the forts with ballistas without needing to send up your archers to use their fire arrows to, you know, they will get shot in return, right? Not the end of the world, but ballistas do have a use potentially, right? Catapults, obviously, good against forts, good against all levels of forts, all the upgrades of forts as well. Can they be used against keeps? Yes, until keeps get their stone wall upgrade, which is their first defensive upgrade. I believe their second defensive upgrade is going to be the ballista towers. And yeah, the catapults are good against just a regular basic keep. But as soon as the keeps get that stone wall, which is that second wall that surrounds it, being made of stone, obviously, catapults really do struggle. I think that at that point, you need like mass catapult, perhaps, you know, maybe like 2 catapults per section of the wall. You can get through the gates with catapults, but again, like it's really haggard. I think I remember attacking a keep with a stone wall upgrade once with like, maybe it was like 1 catapult, and I got through both. What was it? I got through the gate, and I think that was it. And then I needed my men to hack through the defensive garrison guarding that gate, and then they needed to like hack through the gate itself on the inner wall. It was very haggard. I remember that being a very, very rough battle, and it kind of teaches you that once you are attacking those keeps with that stone wall upgrade, you either want mass catapults or you want those trebuchets by that point, which is interesting, you know. But then by the time you get to the citadels, like by the time you're attacking a fortress, let me think this. I don't know too much in detail about the defensive structures of a fortress. Let's see if I have any examples here. I don't think I have any fortresses left, do I? Do I have one here? I do. And what are my options? I've already built everything, haven't I? Yeah. So I've already built the catapult towers. So it's not gonna, yeah, it doesn't tell me. What is it? It's called a curtain wall, isn't it? And I'm not exactly sure what the curtain wall is. Is it just a stronger wall? Or is it a wall that surrounds the entire structure, like the entire keep? Because I think that for the fort and the keep, you basically have these outer walls that don't surround the entire keep. They just kind of create like an inner courtyard kind of area. Like you can actually see it right here, right? And the curtain wall upgrade for the keep. I wonder if that just surrounds the keep more like kind of what you'd see here. I wonder if that's what it is. Maybe. And so for that, the question then is, and this is what I don't quite know, but would trebuchets be sufficient to get through a curtain wall of a keep, or would it struggle the same way that catapults do against the stone walls of a keep structure with a stone wall, right? But then going on, once you get to the level of mangonels, this is where it gets a little bit awkward, because mangonels are good, but you get access to them like somewhat similar, I think, in time to when you get the gunpowder message, and then you can start getting your first tier gunpowder weapons. And the mangonels seem pretty good. Like, they seem like they really do hold up. They don't have good range, neither do the trebuchets. They have the same range, which is fairly short, I think. And I wonder if that's the difference. Do the gunpowder weapons, like the bombards for the Catholics and the mortars for the Muslims, do those weapons have greater range than the mangonel? I'm not quite sure. Like what the applications of taking bombards and mortars over the mangonels are. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Again, like if we were to think about the keep with a curtain wall, or for instance, maybe at this point you're not comparing it to that. Maybe you're comparing it to what takes down a citadel better. So citadels, I think their defensive upgrades, gosh, I see this is one of those things I wish I had memorized by now. But I think that one of their defensive upgrades is going to be the Bastion, which is very powerful. Is that here? The Barbican, yeah, it's not the Bastion, but the Barbican. And the Barbican's very powerful because, for those of you who don't know, and I barely know this, so take my word for a grain of salt. But it's basically like this big fortified tower that stands out right next to the gate. So it's very powerful. It has a very powerful artillery piece that can really like snipe your artillery pieces. And of course, if you're marching your troops into the fortification without having taken out the Barbican yet, it's going to cause devastating damage. It's a really powerful piece. I love that it's in this game because it's powerful. It's impactful. You know, it makes it so that you can't really ignore it. You have to take that puppy down to kind of survive that assault. And I guess this is my question then, is that if we're comparing the gunpowder pieces versus the mangonel when attacking a citadel, especially a citadel with a Barbican, what's the deal then? Like, what's the comparison? What's the difference? I would love to hear all of y'all's thoughts on this. I've talked a little bit about how I think mortars are kind of silly and pointless before. I mean this historically as well. I still don't really get it. What's the point of going over fortifications to attack personnel if you don't have exploding shot? I don't really understand why this was ever a thing that was built. The only reason to avoid fortifications is to be able to kill people and, like, you know, livestock or supplies or something like that. And to do that, you need something that explodes. Typically, like, yeah, sure, I get like a falling rock can damage some stuff, but if it hits it, you know, like that's a really rare thing, I would imagine. I don't know. I don't really understand. Maybe it wasn't rare. Maybe they just could shoot so many mortar rocks in the air that the threats to enemy personnel, what was significant, I really don't know. But it kind of, you know, it makes me have the same question in game as well. You know, in game, what the heck does a mortar do? It's what is it for? You know, anti-personnel. It doesn't bounce. The catapult boulders bounce. The mangonel and the trebuchet boulders bounce, and they can kind of bounce through a formation. I don't think the mortar one bounces. I think it just kind of hits and then poof, it just kind of goes away, and it might hit one guy. Kind of like the ballista bolt as well, which is also very disappointingly modeled in this game. So I would like to, and I could do this work on myself too. I don't need to just rely on you guys answering all of my questions for me. I know that the Wikipedia that I've been relying on for all of my stats, it does have artillery stats in game, which is actually really good. It does have range stats and power stats, and I think there's some other stuff as well. Maybe accuracy is in there as well. And so there might be some applications in that regard that I can sort of suss out the details in regards to, like, maybe a Bombard, for instance, has greater range than a Mangonel. Therefore, maybe it can actually like hit a Barbican while staying outside of range. But I don't think that's the case. I think that I remember having a Barbican like demolish my demi cannons or something like that. I just remember being just absolutely astounded by the range of that artillery piece that's inside of that Barbican. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I'd like to hear about your guys' thoughts on the like kind of the evolution of the artillery trees in this game. It's very interesting how it's been done. I think it's a little bit sloppy, I think, but that's kind of, there's a lot of things like that in the build order, in the tech tree for this game that are a little bit sloppy and unfinished, but it's still interesting and it's definitely fun to kind of play around with. Anyway, that's a long way of me saying that I would like to try maybe some mortars and just kind of see what I can do with them. But then to make sure that I can get inside of the fortress up in Rum, let's bring some Mangonels as well and just bring them up, and we will send them to Odessa in the next turn. And yeah, that should be fine. And yeah, we are continuing to retrain soldiers here in Sinai, and then yep, same thing here in Palestine. Still retraining troops in those places. I don't need to continue. I'm going to take a break from building buildings that I don't need. I was doing it for a moment because I wanted to make sure that I got the Great Builder trait for Sultan Muhammad II for that +1 loyalty to all generals. Now that I have that, I'm going to chill out on building stuff just because I would like to save some buildings to build for the other sultans who come of age. So yeah, we're going to take a little break from that. That is going to be fine. Yes. Malta's fine. Malta's fine. And I also was getting my boats in order. I actually like the progress that I've made in that regard when it comes to really paring down, you know, just getting dhows in most of the sea regions, having the sea regions that border my provinces be well defended with booms, and then having the deep sea regions that are not next to my territories just be patrolled by the Baglas. And this still might be too much. I'm considering like expanding even more, but it would be nice to have these like squadrons that can kind of like sail out and defend my dhows when I need to. You know, having the booms defending my home territories feels like, you know, it feels, I don't know, authentic and kind of flavorful, but at the same time, it also is, it's important to have that power that can actually still win battles on the seas. Speaking of which, there is a little thing up here in the Adriatic. They have a 2-star Bagla, and I have a 1-star, well, a Bagla and a boom. You would think that I could win that. This is the 1 sea region that I've not replaced with a Dhow yet, just because I'm still waiting for a Dhow to get up here. I think I have a Dhow. Do I have a Dhow on the way? Was I going to keep you? I'm trying to remember. This is a home territory, so I do want you defended with a boom. Is there any other place that needs a Dhow? Dhow. You are fine. You are fine. You are fine. Okay. Well, let's just send one of these guys up, and you go, and then you go. And can these guys kill this boat? You would think they should. They should be able to. I know he's a 2-star admiral, but come on. 2v1, boom, and a Bagla. Come on. Get it done, boys. Just in case those ships can't get the job done against that Mongol boat in the Adriatic, let's send just another squadron up here. Yeah, 1 star, 4 Baglas. Again, they should get the job done. And I think that's going to be it for now. I think that the only other thing that I'm sort of concerned by is the fact that my 33-year-old Sultan Muhammad II doesn't have any sons. His only heirs are his brothers for now. So Yeah, you're married, so get to it, sir, please, and thank you. I know it's possible that his brothers have sons, but still. It would be nice to make sure that that is a sure thing. That's the thing that in this game that it's the most stressful thing, I would say, is the fact that you can kind of just lose the game. All right, yes, we won. Nice. Just like that, you know, you can lose the game just by not having any heirs or your king dies or something. That's pretty crazy. You know, that's a pretty wild thing. It took me a long time. I was thinking about this because someday I would like to make a video of like my least favorite and worst favorite parts of each Total War game that I've played, and I can say with certainty what it is for Shogun 1. I can say that it's like the bridge battles in Shogun 1 are the worst thing in that game. With Rome 1, I'm probably pretty sure about what it is. I would probably say it's the brigands, but maybe something else. I might pick Squalor later on. I don't know. There's a few options in Rome 1, but I'm sure I could narrow it down to just a one eventually. But then in this game, it took me a very long time to think like, what would it be? Because they fixed the like river battle issue that happened in Shogun 1 in this game. And then there's so many other things in this game that are like funky and weird and a little bit annoying, but like nothing as bad as the river battles in Shogun 1. Like there's nothing that really makes my skin crawl the same way that those things do. And yeah, same in Rome, you know, there's a few things in Rome that really does make my skin crawl. But yeah, in Medieval, I couldn't think of like that one thing that was so bad that it needed to be on that list. But then, you know what? I would say that it probably is that whole like inheritance thing where you're just screwed sometimes. And although it hasn't happened in campaign yet for me, it's happened very early on in one of my practice campaigns where I was playing as the English, and it was literally my first king. And he died of old age at the age of like 53, which is probably the youngest that I've ever seen a king die of old age. It was really surprising. I thought that they never died of old age, like younger than 57. It was my understanding. But yeah, he was like 53 or 54, and he had an heir that was 1 year away before he became of age. And just like that, my campaign ended. I was practicing the English and my campaign ended. And I was like, oh, fuck me then. You know, luckily that's never happened in a, you know, real campaign that I've poured, you know, hours and hours into. That would just suck, right? That would suck so much. And I pay pretty close attention to this stuff. You know, I'm using my emissaries to try to find princesses to marry my kings when I'm playing as the Catholics. As the Muslims, you don't really have that option, but I'm not lazy about it. You know, I put the work in to try to make sure that doesn't happen, but it's a funky, dumb, stupid thing that probably would get on that list if I were to make that, you know, video someday. Anyway, here we are, just some more buildings that I was building up here. Yep. Let's see. Two-star general often drunk. -1 command, -1 command. That's too bad. That's too bad. You hate to see a good man go down that path. Let's see. You look like, are you a 3-star general? +1 acumen? Okay. You're not an Emir though. Yeah, crack-brained and severe alcoholic. That's not a good combination. Loyal is always good. Unhinged loon. Jeez, oh Pete, these are some bad ones. Alright, you got +1 morale. That's a good one. And the French Crusade is still making its way. I wonder, actually, I don't know the answer to this. What's going to happen to the French Crusade when it meets the rebels here in Constantinople? Is there Khwarezmians and Hashishin and Arquebusiers? Huh. And this is going to fall in how many turns? Five turns before this falls? Huh. I don't know what's going to happen here. Okay, that's going to be I'm very interested to see what's going to happen there. And I'm losing 3,700 per turn still. Okay, well, I think that some of that burden's going to be alleviated once I take these 3 provinces. just, it's going to give me a little bit more cash. And then, as I've kept on talking about forever and ever and ever, the goal is to pare down my forces, but I want to get it to where I have that buffer zone to protect my GA objective homelands. Because that way, like, if we're going to go back and forth, like fighting over like a buffer zone, with my pared down, like defensive minded forces, that's fine. I can do that. I can do that for the rest of the campaign. But doing that for territories that I need these points, that's a little bit too, knife's edge for my liking. I would rather be a little bit more comfortable with that. Oh shoot, I did not see that Mongol ship that was here in the Gulf of Lions, and he has sunk my dhow. Okay, that's my bad. Ooh, unrest in Granada. Alright, that's what you get, Almohads. Messing with me. I actually don't even know how that's happening. Why would there be unrest in Granada? Just not enough troops of theirs? I'm not messing with that. I'm not doing it. Nothing that I'm doing. Alright, anyone important? You 0 stars. Yep. 2-star general, lazy. -1 command, -1 acumen. Damn, you were going to be leading that army too. It's not good. What happened to that French crusade? I'm very curious. He didn't move. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Oh, is he stuck here? Oh, I wonder, is he just gonna get stuck here? That's gonna be funny. How many men are left? 330 men. That's such a wimpy crusade. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, he might be in trouble. And I'm only losing 2,000 florins. I wonder, did rebels take over another... Anytime I'm, like, making a bit more money, I wonder, did, like, someone else... Did the rebels take over another province, maybe? Because the Almohads and the Mongols and the French control, like, most of the map, and that's why I'm not making a lot of money. But, I don't know, I'm not seeing anything that's really standing out to me. Maybe it was just off of the Adriatic. Actually, yeah, that's probably what it was. Trading with the Papal States and Venice. Yeah, that's probably what it was. So let's go back into the Gulf of Lions with my little squadron here and try to clear out whatever boat that was. And then I have to bring over a replacement dhow to the Gulf of Lions. Okay, look at this. So the French king did die of an illness in the last turn, and this new king must not be popular because, I mean, 3 influence, you wouldn't think that would be that bad. This is the new king though, he's 53. Ooh. Do they not have any heirs of age? Ooh, the French might be in trouble. Because they're losing some territories here. The rebels have taken Burgundy and Provence. And Austria and Hungary is going to be a battleground between loyalists and rebels. And then they've lost Brandenburg as well. Flanders has been lost. Lorraine has been lost. Yeah, it's a decent chunk of territory. Brittany is going to be a battleground as well. Okay, I wonder if the Mongols are going to be able to take advantage of this or if they're going to let the French off of the hook, because this could be a serious turning point for the French. Also, would the Danes ever do anything? I mean, would they ever do anything at all? Saxony's for the taking, Danes. Yeah, the French are not at war with anyone, are they? Just me and the Mongols, but yeah, still. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that because I'm very curious. And this French state, the French state is not moving, so they're stuck here because the rebels have taken this province. So that is hilarious. If that's the case, then let's just... I have a few more units that's just going to be joining this army here in Antioch, and then we'll be attacking these provinces in the next turn. So, yeah, that should be pretty fun. And in the very next turn, the French have decided that they will not be winning Hungary. No, the rebels will be taking Hungary. And I wonder what's going to be happening to the other provinces here. So let's see. I have the happiest people. Okay, that's saying something considering, you know, I have a decent chunk of territory. And the Culverin towers are finished here in Syria. A bit of added defense. Oh, cool. The Burgundians emerge. Yes. Oh, that's so cool. It would be nice. I wonder if they would actually like do something in this campaign. In many campaigns, they seem to get really stuck. But we will see. I mean, they have 3 stacks there, but they're going to be fighting up against 2 stacks in Burgundy itself. So, yeah, we will take a look at those stacks and see if there's actually going to be anything in those, like anything decent in those stacks. That'd be kind of cool. I feel like a lot of times those stacks are kind of weak, but we'll see. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. 1-star general is 20 happiness and 1 piety, okay? And yeah, severe alcoholic. Don't want to see that. Let's check out the Burgundians here. What do we got? Hey, not bad. Some chivalric men-at-arms and mounted sergeants and feudal men-at-arms. Not bad at all. Hey, Pavis arbalesters, organ guns, crossbows, archers. Okay, that's okay. And then yeah, chivalric sergeants and crossbows, mounted sergeants, and a couple royal knights. Unfortunately, like not a lot of heavy cav. They have mounted sergeants is going to be the heaviest of their cavalry, which is, you know, it's something. But what are they fighting against? Yeah, this is beatable for sure, and then this is also beatable, I would say. So yeah, they will take Burgundy. What can they train here? They have a swordsmith's workshop, spearmaker's guild, so they can get chivalric sergeants, and I think this is where you get chivalric feudal or men-at-arms. I think. Surprised I don't think of any guns in any of their. Oh, there's some handgunners. Yeah, there you go. They got 1 unit of handgunners. Let's see, what can they train for? Yeah, Master Horsebreeder. Wouldn't that allow them to train? Maybe, yeah, they need an administrative building to train knightly cavalry. Yeah, that's why. That's why they didn't get any knights, is because there's no, like, administrative building here, would be my guess. Okay, interesting. They have a church, so they will be getting +1 morale for all of their troops, so that helps. Okay, well, it's time, Burgundy, for you to start throwing your weight around. Provence is for the taking, for sure. It's just held by this rebel army, and then if you wanted to branch out and take Lorraine as well, I imagine. I mean, that could be a little bit of a tougher fight, maybe, but still, you got this, Burgundy. Do something, be somebody. And how's my income looking now that minus 3,000? So I guess it hasn't been improved that much. I was kind of hoping that it would have improved due to the, you know, like trading with Flanders. I would assume maybe would have helped me out. Anyone else that's like, yeah, Hungary is landlocked, so that doesn't help me. Same with Austria. So yeah, okay. Yeah, Brandenburg. So the regions that are rebel are the regions that I can't trade with anyway. So yeah, boo-hoo, I guess. Upon further reflection, I don't think I can bring myself to attack Rome. That would put me at odds with every rebel faction, every rebel province in the game, and they are my primary trading partners, as I keep saying. So I don't think I can do this. I was thinking it's time to go now because this French Crusade is not going to actually make it to my borders anyway, but I can attack Lesser Armenia, and I can attack Armenia and push them back off of my borders. But the Romish rebels, yeah, I don't know. I think I have to leave them be. It is a shame that it works that way in this game, whereas you attack, you know, one isolated rebel faction here in Rome, and that dictates how your diplomacy reflects on every other rebel faction in the game. It's too bad, but that's just how it works, and I don't think I can bring myself to do that. It would be too difficult for me to get an auto ceasefire by having my boats leave the sea regions of every single rebel province for at least a turn or two, so that I could get that auto ceasefire. That would take a lot of work. And it always takes longer than I would think. Like you'd think like it's just like a turn, you know, of not touching any rebel provinces, but it always feels like it's longer than that. So it's gonna be kind of frustrating to deal with. So what does it look like then if I do Lesser Armenia and then Edessa and then Syria and then Armenia? It's a four province border. It's not ideal. Lengthening the border like that is never ideal, but how much would I really have to keep in Syria to... I was going to say how much would I have to keep in Syria to keep the rebels on side here and keep them from attacking me? I know that they will attack if you leave something wide open, but how wide open is wide open? You know, if I leave what would be for me like the garrison troops that would fit in these defensive fortifications here in Lesser Armenia, and then there's just a fort here in Armenia though. That feels pretty haggard because I only leave like a couple units there. I suppose I could leave a stack. So is that what it would take then to leave a stack here in these 4 provinces to keep the rebels here on side? I may as well just go for it and attack these provinces and see what happens here. And yeah, I did mention this in the last episode, but I just want to make sure that I go over this again. I'm just going to be going all out on these provinces in a way to reduce the amount of needless battles. You know, I don't want to lengthen this campaign any more than I have to. I'm willing to, you know, fight the ones that, you know, can be fought. You know, reasonably, like I was willing to fight this. I'm not avoiding this to avoid a battle, but I just don't think I can, in good counsel, declare war against the rebels, right? So let's go ahead here and invade these 2 provinces. Like that, okay? And let's see how that looks after this turn, and then I expect the Mongols to retreat. If they decide to stand and fight, I'm just going to have to auto-resolve those battles. I just don't have the time to fight those out tonight. Here, Mongols got a boat in the water. Yeah, they want to be persistent here. Okay, that's their right. Let's get out of here with my Dao, and we can go back in with, let's see. I have Baglas here. I sent some Baglas out to deal with this, Bagla. 3 stars. Jesus Christ. I have 2 stars and 5 Baglas, so that should be able to handle that. And yeah, let's not wait. Let's send these 4 Baglas in. 1 star, okay. And these Daos were headed somewhere. Where were they headed? I think I want Daos there. I want a Dao here. I want Daos in all of my coastal regions as well, just to help my booms catch the boats that they're trying to kill if I have to defend my home territory. Yeah, they have a speed of 2, and then my Daos have a speed of 3. Right, that's right. Okay. So one of you stay here. And these other Daos, let's see, I want one of you. Oh yeah, we got out of the Straits of Sicily so that we didn't have to fight that that guy there. Okay, we'll just hang out here in the Ionian Sea until we clear that boat out. And let's go up to the North Sea to make sure that there's no, like, French boats or anything blockading me up here. No, that all looks good. Okay, let's drop a save. And let's see what the Mongols do here. I'm curious to see. They should retreat. And that French Crusade, they're just gonna sit there and wither away. Yeah, they're already... Okay, were they trying to reinforce? So the rebels are gonna retreat here in Burgundy. Interesting, so they're just gonna hang out in that castle. Unless they actually can retreat to another province. Maybe they can retreat to Lorraine or Provence, maybe. And yeah, they want to defend this. Jesus. Well, they have a, what, 7-star general? Jesus. Okay. I mean, I outnumber them by quite a bit. It's too bad I can't fight this. I'm sorry. I'm recording this at a time of the night that I just, yeah, I thought I was gonna, wait, whatever, I can't, I can't keep explaining. Yeah, sorry. I'll resolve this one. And defeat, yeah, holy shit, that sucks, but Whatever, I'll just go back and do it again. And they are going to retreat from Lesser Armenia, so I can bring soldiers over from Lesser Armenia, and I can attack Armenia again. So we got that without a fight. And so we did sink the enemy boat here in the Straits of Sicily. Yep, we got that. And Pope has died from illness. I don't know if there was any excommunications going on. And the King of England has died as well. And the papacy is mobilizing to prepare to attack the Italians. Alright, alright, alright. So what do they have left here in Armenia? I mean, we did some damage, didn't we? 374 men left in this stack. The general is still alive. And then 379 in this stack. Okay. So my Syrian forces got messed up. And yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad I don't have time to play this out, but I just don't. I don't. Let's move at least you guys over, and then let's leave 2 stacks here in Edessa. And then I guess, let's see. This is going to take 2 turns for this to siege out, so... What do I want to do? Let's hang tight with my full force here in Lesser Armenia just to make sure that this is taken care of. And if there's any counterattacks from Anatolia, I can deal with it. Or Trebizond for that matter. And we'll deal with it as we have to. If they want to counterattack from Armenia into Syria, I mean, we will see. I did bring over 3 stacks, so hopefully that's enough. And I have like a garrison force here and these beat up, you know, forces that didn't take Armenia. So we should be okay, I would think. I could bring up forces from Arabia as well. Yeah, it's too bad. I'm wishing. I wish I had time to fight that battle the right way, but I just, yep. I hate playing this game and not fighting the battles, but yeah, this campaign just it's gonna keep dragging on, so I have to do some things to speed it up in some ways. And this is what I like to see. The Burgundians are going on the offensive and they're taking out Lorraine, so that's cool. I guess they're going to retreat to Flanders, I suppose? That's interesting. And they are going to counterattack here in Lesser Armenia. Again, I can't fight this. They have tons of Mongol heavy cav. Jesus, they might win. I have a lot of forces though, like a lot. 4,400 against their 1,200, so let's see what happens. So I did win this one. Huzzah. And I did sink the enemy boat, but I lost 2 of my own here in the Gulf of Lions, so that's unfortunate. We did sink this one without any losses to our own here in the Adriatic. And yeah, we did raise 1,700 here in the Lesser Armenia. I have the largest military still. Interesting, okay. I guess so, that makes sense. The Pope has requested another crusade against me. Alright. And this is going to take... Okay, so yeah, since some of those forces did sally out and fight, and since there's less of them now, there's less mouths to feed, therefore this is going to go on for another 3 turns, as opposed to being done next turn. So yeah, that's... It's unfortunate, but, you know, that's how it goes. Hey, at least now I am in the positive, making 1,300 per turn, so that, you know, I'm in the green now, thanks to all of those losses I have taken in those last 2 battles. So yeah, how about silver linings? Alright, and a few turns later, Lesser Armenia has fallen to my soldiers, and I did pillage 2,000 florins. Let's see, what do we have here? Very charitable, +1 piety, +10 happiness. You are not a governor. You are not a governor. 2-star general, often drunk, -1 command, -1 acumen. That sucks. And nope, you are not a general either, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, Lesser Armenia. Let's see. Let's pump up these taxes. And we can train Ghulams for +1 valor, so that's nice. Can we actually train Ghulams here? We can train Armenian heavy cavalry. Ooh, that's nice too. Getting the Ghulams. Ghulams are a little bit cheaper. 275 versus 300. Support cost. The Ghulams are 10 support cost more so than the Armenians. 60 for the Armenians and then 70 for the Ghulams. Interesting. I know that at base value, the Armenians are a better heavy cav unit, but I wonder with the Valor bonus, I wonder if the Ghulams are better. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head. I think it's very close. Interesting. Well, what can I get any like, ooh, the Barbican. Yes, that'd be cool. More economy stuff would be nice as well. So maybe getting some improved farmland. Or maybe get the Master Horse Breeder, so +1 Valor for my Ghulams that I can retrain here. That'd be nice too. And maybe some armor upgrades? I don't know. I like to keep my Ghulams somewhat lightly armored so that they can, you know, run around quite a bit. But, Master Horse Breeder, yeah, let's get that. And we can get the farm upgrades afterwards. That should be fine. Alright, and then let's, like, put together a stack that can hold Lesser Armenia. There's still some Mongol forces here in Anatolia. But if we leave enough forces here in Lesser Armenia and then bring the rest back over to Syria, then maybe we can make a push onto Armenia and then actually take it this time. Now the French are blockading my northern sea region here, so that's just not going to do. What do we have here? We have a bark, 0 command stars, and we are trading with Northumbria. So yeah, let's get rid of this bark. We have plenty of Baglas here. 4-star Bagla, Admiral. Let's go. Let's get rid of that bark, please, and thank you. And then down here, it's going to be a little while. I don't have any of the units that I want to garrison Lesser Armenia, so I'm going to be bringing them up. And I've decided, how about, you know what? Let's get that Barbican, actually. It's going to take 5 turns to build that. Oh, Jesus, that's going to be a while. But yeah, let's get an actual garrison that I'm comfortable fighting with here in Lesser Armenia. And then I can bring these stacks on over to Syria so that we can attack Armenia all together. Okay, and the Spanish are back. Yeah, Portugal is a prime province to come back to because there's already going to be like these hard-coded public order issues in Portugal. So yeah, Spanish are back. Let's see if they will apply any pressure to either the Almohads or the Mongols. I'll take either, you know, because right now, if I can, anything that the Spanish want to take, any province they want to take that I can go back to trading with rather than, you know, my enemy factions, yeah, I'll be grateful for that indeed. And how are these Spanish armies looking here? We have some basic pikemen. Yeah, okay, they're okay, I suppose. Feudal sergeants, arquebusiers, handgunners, crossbows, meh. Pavis arbalesters, okay. Archers, chivalric swords, which are nice. Mounted sergeants, some trebuchets. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Feudal men-at-arms, handgunners, archers, pikes are. It's like okay. Okay, here's some feudal men-at-arms. Some more chivalric men-at-arms, mounted sergeants. And where's the king? He's here. 0 stars, and then his lieutenant is also 0 stars. That's rare, I feel like. You typically see bad kings with reemergence factions, but then usually they have like a good like sidekick general, like a lieutenant or something. And not him. Yeah, he has 0 loyalty, bad command. I don't know what's going on there. That is not promising, I must say. Hopefully they can apply some pressure on the Mongols. I'd like to see that. And the Burgundians, yeah, they have Lorraine and Burgundy, so that's something. I'm curious to see if they come down and take Provence. It's right there, it's ripe for the taking. Or Flanders. I mean, there's 2 stacks in Flanders though, so that's going to be a bit of a harder fight. But yeah, if they could at least take Provence and maybe build a port, then we could trade with them, you know, that would be nice. What the hell just happened? How did this French crusade, with 93 men, get from Bulgaria to Khazar? Did they go around? Did I just like miss them going around this whole time? Because you can't... There was a Mongol boat here who is now in the Aegean, but they were just in the Black Sea. But they can only use their allies... Yeah, they're at war with the Mongols, so they couldn't have used their boats. I know you can use your allies' boats for your crusades, but yeah, that wouldn't have been the case. Huh, did they just move all the way around without me noticing? That is so weird. So they're gonna try to attack... Where are they going? Tripoli? They're not gonna make it, guys. Oh dear. And just a couple turns ago, there was a new French king as well. The old king. He was already old, as I pointed out. So I didn't check in on the new guy. Where is the new... There you are. In Franconia. 3 influence. So not super great. 41 years old. Also not super duper great. Yeah, he's getting a bit old. Speaking of getting old, I'm a little bit nervous now at this point. My Sultan is 50 or 45. He still hasn't had any kids. Yes, he does have brothers, but they are also like in the same sort of age range, 41, 38, and 37. And I don't know if they have kids until, you know, they become the ruler. So this is where things get a little bit nerve-wracking, you know? I was just talking earlier in this episode about how this whole, like, you know, the heir status in this game is the most stressful and it's the suckiest thing, and otherwise it is a great game. And yeah, we get to kind of live through it here. In this game, I know there is a cheat that allows you to spawn a, like a fresh heir. I think he spawns of age. I think so. I would have to look at that to remind myself. I've never had to use that cheat, but I'm not above it. If it comes down to the point where, you know, none of my guys are having children, I'm not going to lose this game because of something that I can't control. So, yeah, I will cheat if I have to spawn myself a new heir just to continue the bloodline, because yeah, as the Muslims, there's really nothing you can do. Like as the Catholics, you can at least try to, like, you know, pursue princesses and keep that going, but here, you know, it's just really luck of the draw. And I would assume that the game just wouldn't let you just lose like that, but according to some horror stories, that does happen sometimes. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully, I mean, yeah, he's 45. Hopefully his other brothers, and he has 3 of them. Yeah, Prince Asali. So 2 of them are here, and then I think he has a 3rd one who is here. Yeah, Prince Asali. So this is the next in line. So hopefully you got some kids. You're not married, but I don't think it's going to show any of them as being married. And I'm pretty sure that the Muslim princes don't need to be married to have children. I think that's the difference between them and the Catholics. I think so. In any case, I think that I have like my full garrison force here, 319. Is that what I was going to do? 319. I feel like that's a little bit short. Is that what I have here? 319, yeah. And I'm aiming for this 390, I think, is the number that I wanted. Okay. What else would I want then in this army? So maybe some dedicated infantry. I was thinking this would be kind of like a fun garrison force. The Hashishin, just because of their low unit model numbers. The Saharan Cav, just because maybe they can sort of hide in a forest and then go after the artillery machines during a siege battle. Naphthas, yeah, again, small unit count, and then the devastating bombs that they throw. Organ guns, again, small unit count, and, you know, big bang for their buck. A general's unit, which can dismount into Saharan infantry if he has to. Maybe bring in... How short am I? So this is actually 320 because it's not counting the general. So I want to get up to like 390-ish. Okay, so maybe just like... Maybe not get up to 390. Maybe... Because I think that if I have half of the allotted strength capacities, then... Oh, actually, cavalry counts for more. That's right. Yeah, so let's just bring in one more unit of Ghulam bodyguards and then call it a garrison. Yeah, how about this guy? 6 stars? Jesus, where have you been all my life? He must be, like the next captain of this unit that's been around for a while. Yeah, he's Scant Mercy, so you have been fighting for a while. Natural leader, okay. Amir al-Bahr, or Amir al-Labi. So the Amir al-Bahr? This is, oh, that's a title, okay. So let's leave it at that. Let's take these guys and move them. Yeah, let's move them into Edessa. And then they can move into Syria after that. And then attack up into Armenia. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mongols did attack Lesser Armenia from Anatolia. But I will just retreat to my fortification. Oh, shoot. How long before this is done? Shoot. Shoot. Actually, let's hang out for 2 more turns. Let's wait until that Barbican's finished. Just kidding. Let's go back. And with that, I'm just going to call it here. Yeah, sorry for the abrupt ending. I just have to call it for tonight. And going on into the next one, I will be looking to hold Lesser Armenia. Hopefully by the time I'm recording the next episode, I will be able to actually be in the frame of mind that allows me to fight some battles. So I would be looking forward to fighting a defensive siege battle for Lesser Armenia. That could be pretty fun. And then yeah, if the Mongols want to defend Armenia again, I will go in there and actually fight them this time if they want to defend it. Or if not, I can just throw overwhelming numbers in and try to push them away. I was surprised that they fought me, 2-1, but they did, and they had the good right to, because obviously they won. And yeah, I hate auto resolving battles that would be actual cool battles to play. I love fighting the battles in this game, so yeah, that bummed me out. I wish I had time. So that's going to be it for this one. This has been Kanasip playing Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.